Good morning, people. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Cup of Joe. Welcome to my Cup of Joe listening news. Good morning. Good morning. Having a cup of Joe. Having a cup of Joe. Getting ready for my routine, y'all. Having a cup of Joe. Let's get this cup of Joe here. How y'all doing this morning? Just made a nice, good old cup of Joe. Let's see what's happening.
Is written on this horrific, racist.
How y'all doing? Hey, Joshua.
History. I think what's going to be so
Hi,
fascinating
friend.
for those learning about it is how so many people lost their minds, their moral compass, relationships, family relationships, because they were blindly obedient to an incompetent, deranged, old man that clearly has dementia. So while all this stuff is going on in the world, right wings melting down about Bad Bunny, because I guess people speaking Spanish is triggering when you're a thin-skinned, amoral MAGA cultist. Their cult leader is on his Lie Social idiotic social media platform because he got kicked off of all the others when he tried to do an insurrection, so he started his own. And he goes on these benders. And here's just one that just gets slipped into the news cycle. I won't read the whole thing to you all, but Aaron Rupar has posted a summary of it. Trump, in the middle of his latest unhinged Truth Social screed, claims that if Canada makes a trade deal with China, the first thing China will do is terminate all ice hockey being played in Canada and permanently eliminate the Stanley Cup. And here's the thing, like, I understand all of us have been around old people with dementia. All of us have been around people that are old and kind of mean. I guess what I'm fascinated by right now is the people who read this and are like, oh my God, ice hockey is going to be gone because of the Chinese, and they're going to eliminate the Stanley Cup. Like, that they connect all of this insanity to somehow their feeling that they are oppressed. And I want to remind everybody, the bulk of MAGA, they got everything they wanted in this last election. They have the presidency, they have the House, they have the Senate, they have the Supreme Court. They have all of Trump's sycophants buying up all of corporate media. They have everything they want. And these people are still miserable. They still feel oppressed, which brings me to my foregone conclusion. Nothing will fix these people. They are permanently emotionally stunted and scarred from a culture in the United States of America that values profits over human beings. Here's the thing about Trump. He's a bully. He's just a big, fat, insecure, little teeny weeny peeny bully. But here's the thing. It's like he's mad at Canada for making a trade deal, when the first thing he did when he got into office the second time was call Canada the 51st state. You know, he sent an official Lie Social disinviting Canada from his board of peace. I mean, he's so freaking immature and stupid. It's just, he's stupid. And these people, I think they give him a pass of, oh, he's so funny. Oh, he's gonna take away ice hockey from these people. I think they think he's just a laugh and a half because they're so dumb. They don't understand true wit and comedic energy and timing. But it's just, it amazes me that people don't look at this and think this man immediately needs to be 25th Amendment. He immediately needs to be put in a nursing home because he is absolutely fucking out of his mind. Well, and he serves up what they really want. He serves up memes of Michelle and Barack Obama. Correct. As apes. And so when he throws in this stuff mixed in with some heavy anti-Black racism, which is the MAGA base's first love. Anti-Black racism. They've settled and moving on for immigrants and being triggered about these other things. But as long as he serves that up, which was the impetus of his campaign, Barack Obama is not American. Barack Obama was born in Kenya. That racism unlocked something in these people that they felt damaged by the progress of Black Americans. They felt like Barack Obama's presidency damaged them, that it took something away from them. And the person who is providing deliverance is this guy, because he allows them and gives them a permission structure to be racist. And then, of course, he's surrounded by just complete nuts. And so there's this congressman named Randy Ogles, and I just want to review his halftime post. Last night's halftime show was a disgrace, and it mocked American families. Depicting gay pornography on primetime has no place in our culture. The Bad Bunny performance is conclusive proof that Puerto Rico should never be a state. And what I have to say to Representative Andy Ogles is this is a big tell for you.
Yes.
This tells me that when you see men dancing, your brain interprets it as gay porn. Your brain interprets it as exciting and titillating. I actually saw a heterosexual marriage in the halftime show. He sees hot men doing salsa style dancing, and he was aroused. And he went to Twitter to prove that when he sees men dancing, he's aroused, much like little Moses Mike Grinder Johnson when somebody called him Magic Mike. Went to the movie Magic Mike, where these men are hot strippers dancing, and for him, that's gay porn. For Congressman
Good morning,
Ogles,
good morning.
seeing attractive men dancing is gay porn to him. So my messaging here is the Democrats, here is an opportunity to bridge this divide on the culture wars, because clearly after the Bad Bunny thing, we won the culture wars. I mean, even Paul Brothers or Logan, whatever their names, those Logan Paul, he starts off with, I'm not going to watch the halftime show, all the way to Bad Bunny was great. And they see that Americans love multiculturalism. My big thing is, I am fascinated, and I always have been for 25 plus years. So my gay friends are abundant. And I have never quite heard so many gay comparisons out in the world, out in the wild, as I have, pertaining to MAGA men seeing gayness in something that really wasn't even gay. And I think it's a real Freudian style tell.
I completely agree. And what's so funny about that is you hear what they say, you see what they post, Benny Johnson with the gay cruises, Moses Mike with Magic Mike. And I think, no wonder Grindr crashes every time these people are together. They're obsessed and thinking about gay stuff all the time because they have a desire to do it. Yet their religion or their, whatever they think their status they're projecting doesn't allow them to be who they are. That's why they're angry. That's why they crash Grindr in secret. That is why they have to be so hateful, because the rage is against themselves, in my opinion.
Speaking of alleged heterosexuals, a person that is completely obsessed with men talks about them ad nauseum, talks about masculinity, talks about real men do this, real men do that. Of course, is ridiculous propagandist on Fox News, Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters was completely unhinged, which is just another Monday night in America, last night on Fox News. And so these MAGA people fundamentally have a hard time understanding that Puerto Rico is the United States, and it is treated really poorly by our government. And there was a lot of messaging in Bad Bunny's halftime show about the electrical issues in Puerto Rico, about multiculturalism, about valuing love over hate, and lifting up small immigrant children when he handed the
Good
Grammy
morning,
to the
Mad
little
Dog.
boy. And so here's how this was
Good
all received
morning.
over on Fox. Play the clip.
the Super Bowl not to be an international event. I like it when we kind of all come together as Americans, especially when it feels like the NFL is just using it as a marketing ploy to recruit Latin American audience on the heels of Latin America invading this country. 20 million pouring in.
This
And that's
poor
Pause it
sap.
right there. That's a lie. The 20 million pouring in, that isn't a demonstrably proven lie, yet it continues and continues on Fox and through this administration. Continue on.
all these foreigners speaking a foreign language with foreign flags marching into the camera like a caravan. Too soon. Listen, this was an open borders moment. Everybody knows it. That's what's going on here. And all the reporters.
Okay, so obviously that's just insane. And the bigger issue for me again is Trump is insane. Fox News are cheap propagandists. They are making billions of dollars. Rupert Murdoch has done so much damage to this country. It's really alarming when you sit back and think about it. Is that millions of people sit at home at night and watch that, and it feeds something in them, which is this default setting of racism. And I remember, and it doesn't just apply to brown people, they get really mad at white people that embrace multiculturalism as well. And I'll give you an example. When John Kerry was running for president against George W. Bush, John Kerry can speak fluent French, and he's over in France and he starts speaking fluent French. And then later on, when he was Secretary of State, he would be in France or some EU thing and he would speak fluent French. This same level of meltdown about somebody who's bilingual. And so I just have to implore the question, like, is your whole world and your identity built up so thinly, like a house of cards, that if somebody speaks a different language or has a different skin color, or is somebody who you deem to be a heritage American, like, this is why Fox gets so mad at me, because they say, oh, wait a minute, she's a heritage American. She's from Northern Europe and born in Texas. She's supposed to be on our side. She's a race traitor, just like they thought Mike Pence was. And they are so insecure that anything that isn't in their own little teeny tiny narrow worldview, it is explosive diarrhea on Lie Social, on Twitter, on Fox News. And it feeds this hysteria. And I think the thing that amazes me about the MAGA movement is just how thin-skinned, fragile, and hysterical they are. These people are absolutely hysterical. It was a Super Bowl show. The America that I've grown up in is like, if you don't like it, change the channel. You have autonomy. You have agency. And all of this could have been avoided by Jesse Waters changing the channel. But we saw in an episode that I did yesterday that even at Mar-a-Lago, which, by the way, is not an English name, Mar-a-Lago, doesn't sound very American to me. But at Mar-a-Lago, the foreign named golf club, they're watching Bad Bunny. They're not watching the shit show Kid Rock thing, because Kid Rock sucks. They're watching Bad Bunny and Lady Gaga and Ricky Martin.
Good morning, good morning.
Fabulous multiculturalism that America has to offer. And this is the thing that scares them so much. They're so concerned about the Great Replacement Theory. They're so concerned about people, white people, breeding, heritage Americans, as they call it, breeding with brown-skinned people and maybe speaking another language. And I just think, what a pathetic existence that's your big rub in life. Like, out of all of the things in the world to be mad about, like, hey, maybe the president of the United States is an adjudicated rapist and cankles deep in the middle of a pedophile sex ring, wherein the lead operator appears to be a Mossad agent who also is selling off shit to Russia to bribe our president. That's how it appears to me. But now let's get wound up about a musician named Bad Bunny, wherein you could have simply not watched the show.
All right, listen up, listener. The Trump administration has said that we cannot call them fascists. And the last time I checked, we still had a First Amendment. So naturally, I've been busy writing a book called not today, fascists. The lies that got us here and the truths that will reunite us. My book will publish on October 6th. If you really want to give the administration the bird, go over and pre-order it wherever books are sold.
Well, here's the deal. They have to have something to talk about, and it has to be racist because that's what the people that watch Fox News want to hear. So they can't talk about Epstein. They can't talk about Trump being so ass deep in these files and the atrocities that he committed against young girls as alleged in these files, and all the other people in his cabinet. For example, Howard Lutnick, I know, but they can't talk about that, so they have to imagine a slight. And here's the thing, they have Fox News anchors and the audience, they think that if you have access to the American dream, that takes away my access to the American dream. They've never figured out that the more access people have to upward mobility, the better it is. And you look at this wealth disparity and you see people are getting poorer and the 1% and the richer, they're getting richer and richer and richer. So what they're doing, they're feeding the hate, they're feeding this anger in people, and they're making them think you're going to take from me. If you're equal, then you take from me, which is the biggest bunch of horseshit because it's the billionaires that are taking everything. And I just want to say one other thing. The whole theme of Bad Bunny's halftime show, which I rewatched after I read about all the nuggets in it, it was like love is more powerful than hate. This is America, and these people are triggered by that. And it is unbelievably racist and appalling. And the fact that it's just sitting there on the news like it's normal, it's just fucking gross.
Well, these people have been historically triggered by halftime Super Bowl performances. Like, this is true. They're always upset by art. They're upset by the fact that open-minded people that tend to be creative, tend to be more progressive, that facts have a liberal bias. Lately they've been running around saying there are no Republican professors at any of the Ivies. I'm like, well, no shit, because facts have a liberal bias. It's not like somebody ascends that high and critically thinks that much and then says, you know what I think we should do? We should tax the working class more than the billionaires. That makes perfect sense to me. When you get data and you get facts, you don't end up in that place. But this is a classic historical scapegoating that we've seen in other times of history, other fascist regimes, which brings me to Megyn Kelly, who is, I think, in the latter stages of MAGA psychosis. Play the clip.
All right, Pierce, but to get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we have 40 million?
Oh, Megan, maybe you should have took up Spanish in high school. They do teach it. Sick bitch. These racists. Oh my God, clowns.
Spanish speakers in the United States. We have
Pause it right there.
10 million who.
I care that we have 40 million Hispanics in the United States. It doesn't bother me in the least bit that it was all in Spanish, because I think it's fascinating to get a little sampling and a taste of a different culture that literally hundreds of millions of people around the world like Bad Bunny. And what an honor to be able to have the world's largest Latino pop star agree to perform at the Super Bowl during Trump's reign of absolute murder, terror, and debauchery on U.S. citizens. Keep going.
Who don't speak a lick of Spanish. This is supposed to be a unifying event for the country, not for the Latinos, not for one small group, but for the country. We don't need a Black national anthem. We don't need a Spanish-speaking, non-English performer, and we don't need an ICE or America hit.
These motherfuckers, like, I swear, they really think that it is so, is this just regrettable? Bitch, you people didn't discover this country, this world. There's other people here. You motherfuckers just come and take. Your translucents, your add-ons. You attach yourselves to every other fucking culture because you have Your culture is stealing, robbing, pillage, killing, you know the works, conquering, colonizing. You don't have a fucking culture. You're translucents. You're add-ons. And the only thing you can do is blend in. And you're fucking angry. Jesus. And this Megyn Kelly bitch.
Hater featured as our primetime entertainment.
Okay, what is the
Okay, I'm just gonna leave it with this. Megyn Kelly, chinga tu madre puta. All right, like, subscribe, comment. We'll be back later.
Unfucking believable. I don't know why they think this is their fucking place and their fucking place only. It's so fucking ridiculous. Oh, man, it's unbelievable. I cannot believe those are some sick people. That's all. I just can't believe that they're angry about, like, they own the fucking NFL and shit. Gonna tell the NFL who the fuck come on. Who the fuck could come on, goddamn, on there. Or the world's fucking, this is just fucking ridiculous. It is. It really makes my ass hurt. Oh my God. It really makes my ass hurt. So, I don't know, y'all. This cup of joe is really, really good. Yes, really, really good. So, what's going on with everybody? Seems to be like it's going to be kind of warm today. Let's see, what vote was derailed?
Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
A humiliating defeat for MAGA Mike Johnson. What you just saw right there was a vote where MAGA Mike Johnson lost the vote despite having a majority in the House of Representatives. He lost the vote as GOP members defected. The vote was 217 against to 214 in favor, and the vote was on something called a rule that would create the parameters for a debate on future pieces of potential resolutions and legislation. But what made this a very big deal is that in this so-called rule, MAGA Mike put in a poison pill that would prevent Congress from having any debate or votes on Donald Trump's so-called emergency tariffs against the world. And that MAGA Mike would cut off a vote about whether or not Congress could declare Trump's tariffs against the world illegal. And MAGA Mike wanted to push that vote off for a year, and he slipped it into this rule to try to get Congress to agree to not even debate a vote on whether or not Trump's tariffs against the world could be declared unlawful. So what happened here was when the GOP defected against MAGA Mike, this will allow a resolution to come to the House floor today, declaring Donald Trump's tariffs against Canada and the rest of the world unlawful. If the rule passed, then the rule would have prevented that vote from happening. And I can get really into
no
the weeds
pass
of
for
the
Magic Mike.
Because you may be wondering, well, can't MAGA Mike block a vote that would block Donald Trump's tariffs against the world? You can't, because of something called a National Emergencies Procedures Act. And because what this would be considered, blocking Donald Trump's tariffs against the world, would be called a privileged resolution, you're allowed to bring it at any time, and any member of Congress, Democrat, can bring it, and MAGA Mike is unable to block it. So this is a big deal, meaning that what we can expect to happen today is a vote that could come to the House floor blocking Trump's tariffs against Canada, blocking Donald Trump's tariffs against other countries. would require a joint resolution though, so once it passes in the House of Representatives, it would then have to go to the United States Senate, and then it would go to Donald Trump's, for his signature. Donald Trump could then try to veto it, but then there would be a supermajority to try to overturn Donald Trump's veto. But what MAGA Mike wanted to avoid is that now, because the rule failed, a vote's gonna take place, and now the entire country will get to see what Republicans really feel about Donald Trump's tariffs against the world. So they're gonna have to take votes, and this is important heading into the midterms, that if they're voting in favor of Donald Trump's tariffs against the world, which the American people realize now is a tax on American companies, which are passed through to American consumers. That's why there are horrible jobs reports right now. That's why inflation is surging again. That Americans can now hold these members of Congress accountable. So MAGA Mike wanted to have this rule to prohibit debate, to allow a vote, to block Donald Trump's tariffs against the world, to protect, you know what I'm saying here, to protect his Republican members from having to take this vote in the first place. And now they all get exposed. You see, we did a little Schoolhouse Rocks right there.
Yeah.
I think that's gotta be graduate school level Schoolhouse Rock. So here was the big news last night. The rule fails. And the vote right there, 217 against, 214 in favor. As Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News reports, the House has defeated a rule that would have blocked lawmakers' ability to bring up resolutions challenging Trump's tariffs. The vote was 214 yay, 217 against. Thomas Massie, Kevin Kiley, and Don Bacon all voted no. These resolutions will now flood the floor in the months running up to the election, so we can expect votes perhaps as early as today in the House blocking Donald Trump's tariffs against Canada and other countries. And members are going to have to vote one way or another how they really feel. They can't hide behind the rule. Now, this rule was kept open, the vote on it, for hours and hours and hours, and MAGA Mike was trying to intimidate Massie and Bacon and Kiley to flip their votes to yes. But the thing is that you have Donald Trump viciously attacking Massie and Massie's wife.
Massie
And by the
better
way,
be
Don
careful.
Bacon has been someone who's been very
Trump's
outspoken
deranged
against Donald
fucking
Trump's tariffs
fan
against the
club,
world.
the
And
Colts.
Kiley is a very vulnerable Republican right now in California after Prop 50, so they certainly weren't changing their votes, and they all voted against the rule, and they could not
Good
be
morning,
coerced,
Shawanda.
by MAGA Mike. Aaron Frischner
Good
says,
morning.
this was Mike Johnson's third failed rule vote of the 119th Congress, bringing him closer to tying the modern era record for rule failure in the House, which is currently held by Mike Johnson from the 118th Congress. It is so rare for rules to fail. They're basically procedural in nature. You just pass the rule and then you go on and actually vote on the thing. But MAGA Mike can't even get the rules passed. But then again, he slipped into the rule the poison pill to block Congress from exercising its Article 1 power to be involved in taxation and be involved in regulating tariffs. Tariffs are a form of taxation. Congressmember Don Bacon said the following: I don't like putting the important work of the House on pause, but Congress needs to be able to debate on tariffs. Tariffs have been a net negative for the economy and are a significant tax that the American consumers, manufacturers, and farmers are paying. Article 1 of the Constitution places authority over taxes and tariffs with Congress for a reason, but for too long we have handed that authority to the executive branch. It's time for Congress to reclaim that responsibility. I also oppose using the rules votes to legislate. I want the debate and the right to vote on tariffs. Now, earlier in the day, MAGA Mike Johnson was asked about Howard Lutnick, Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary, who testified before the United States Senate yesterday and admitted that he brought his little children back in 2012 to Epstein's Island, but he saw nothing wrong about doing that. And MAGA Mike was asked, well, you know, Howard Lutnick lied and said that he had never been to Epstein Island and only saw Epstein once in 2005, and now he's bringing his children there. Like, Do you think he should resign? Because it shows pretty poor judgment to lie about child sex trafficking relationships with Epstein and knowing Epstein, and then to bring your children to an island where child sex trafficking is happening. I'm not saying that that's what happened at all with his children, but it's pretty bad judgment to bring your children to an island where children get sex trafficked and then tell your friend to bring their children. What do you think about that, Mac?
Bring your friends so I can sex traffic.
How Budnick had said that he had cut out ties with Jeffrey Epstein in 2005. The documents that came out contradict that. Democrats and Thomas Massie say he should resign. Do you think that Howard Budnick should resign?
Of course not. It's absurd. Howard Budnick is a great Commerce Secretary who's done an extraordinary job for the country, and Thomas Massie should stop.
Do you have any concerns about Budnick's ties with?
I don't know anything about that. I know Howard as an individual, and I trust his word on it. I mean, I don't know the timing and all that. I'm not sure. You got to ask others.
Do you have any interest in doing under that?
Of course, I have an interest. For me, it's timing. I've got Chairman Comer and many of our colleagues that are going down to come through that. Chairman Comer will go through it himself. I have a lot of faith in him and his ability and his team. The lawyers oversight of going through it and members themselves, as you know, is unredacted and available to everybody. I intend to go down myself. Right now, I'm trying to keep the train on the tracks, and we got to do all this stuff simultaneously. So I'm convinced the DOJ is complying with everything they're required to do. There's we still have an opinion report where they will give us, they will formally explain why some of their redactions are made. But I think it's a good move for them to put the millions of documents in the SCIF so that members can go in and see and verify this for themselves. There's some good work, good review being done on that. I applaud it. It's important. We have to make sure that justice is carried forward for these victims, and we're all committed to that.
On reconciliation.
You didn't have it?
Oh,
Did you record it?
yeah, I did.
Okay.
But I
No,
took
yeah,
it
yeah.
out because
Okay, you guys gonna talk about this? Correct, because there's supposed to be a micro.
And shortly thereafter, MAGA Mike Johnson was seen running away from reporters who were simply asking him his response to Donald Trump using the Department of Justice to try to indict 2 Democratic senators and 4 Democratic House members, but ultimately the grand jury rejected the indictment, and Trump was trying to indict them for making a video telling members of the military that they must refuse unlawful orders. So, MAGA Mike, what was your response to that? Or are you just gonna run away, try to formulate your thoughts, and then ultimately agree with whatever you think Donald Trump wants you to say? Here, play this clip.
Mr. Speaker, news just broke this evening that federal prosecutors tried to indict the 6 Democrats in the disobey illegal orders video, but a grand jury in Washington rejected that. Do you believe that those 6 Democrats should be indicted?
I'm going to reserve comment on this until I review that. That's the first I've heard of it. I mean, I think that anytime you're obstructing law enforcement and getting in the way of these sensitive
You're not law enforcement, you're a regime.
But they were just reiterating the law that members of the military should not have to obey illegal orders.
Yeah, but I think they went further than that. I think they were suggesting that they disobey the orders, and I think that crosses the line. So it was very serious. I'm glad due attention's been paid to it, and I hope that they straighten up their act.
Doesn't it annoy you that all your devices have different chargers?
Oh my God. The hypocrisy is stunning. It is stunning. So, y'all. Yes, Cup of Joe, and now it is time to take the meds. Let's see what the polling is on the Texas. What's Miss Crockett doing?
Reports. And when Trump unleashed ICE
See where that race is going.
law to unmask ICE and hold them accountable. Laura Fine, the fighter we need to stop Donald Trump.
Early voting for the March primary election starts next week, and a new poll was released today showing how the hotly contested U.S. Senate race is shaping up. It was a big topic today on Battleground Texas. Fox 4's Stephen Dial is live with more. Stephen?
Yeah, Peyton, today a University of Houston poll came out showing that Ken Paxton is leading on the Republican side and Dallas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett leading on the Democratic side. And with just days until early voting, time is running out with still many undecided voters. Texas Democrats have tried for decades to turn the political tide, having not won statewide since 1994. I asked Kendall Scudder, the new party chair, what's different this time?
Democrats have fielded, recruited, filed a candidate in every state and federal office in Texas.
Scudder says this is the first time since the 70s Democrats have put a candidate on the ballot in every race. But the Republican heavyweights still loom large. A new University of Houston poll shows Attorney General Ken Paxton leading the three-man field in the Republican Senate primary with 38%. Incumbent Senator John Cornyn at 31% and Representative Wesley Hunt with 17%. On the Democratic side, Representative Jasmine Crockett leads with 47% over State Representative James Tallarico with 39%. On Battleground Texas, I asked Rice University political scientist Mark Jones for his take on Crockett's lead over Tallarico.
He kept working very hard throughout the month of December and January, raising money, having events, and spending money, and he's put himself in a very good position. Crockett's advantage, though, is that she has overwhelming support in the African-American community, and just shy of 1 out of every 4 voters in the Democratic primary will be African-American, meaning that Tallarico has to win the other demographics by a decent margin, and he's close, but I think the real focal point will be on Latinos and white women, with white women being, of course, the largest demographic in the Democratic primary.
Tallarico has blanketed the air with ads.
Texas has a warrior who's fighting back.
Crockett has not had a presence on TV in the form of ads. I'm told that will change this week with this advertisement.
Do you think the top of the ticket in this race in November could impact Democrat turnout?
Yeah, I mean, I think the top of the ticket is the one that people look at the most, right? It's a lot sexier than some of your down ballot races. So certainly who you have at the top matters. It will certainly motivate some, whether it's on your side or on the other side. And, there's some political calculations of figuring out how you get to the finish line in November, regardless of who we nominate at the top. Our message is going to stay the same because it's true to who we are as a party. And it is a party that unapologetically stands on the side of people who have to take showers when they get home from work. And they're just trying to make sure their kids get the same opportunities they did.
All right. Okay, go Crockett. Go Tallarico too. He's pretty good too. So let's see who take that. Oh, what? Let's see. What's going on? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. They haven't found this lady yet. That's alarming. That seemed like an inside job. That Gultry lady is missing. Let's see what they're talking about.
3,156 arrests, 294 illegal guns seized. I think the number's probably higher today. Carjackings down 87%, violent crime down 45%. Right here in the nation's capital. I've been
It was like that before you brought ICE there.
They go out
fucking
on the streets,
stupid
and I'm
head.
watching the DC Metro Police. I'm watching them with the Transit Authority Police, who of course keep our metros safe. I'm watching them with our DEA, FBI, ATF, U.S. Marshals, Treasury agents, and HHS has even provided doctors out there to help the team. And what they are, they're a team, and they are working hand in hand.
No. Bullshit. Oh.
All right, guys. Today
This is funny. The MAGA code. So now Obama's in the Epstein files. Isn't that so? For the MAGAs, those, what is wrong with those people? The MAGA cult, they just, the conspiracies.
I don't care about hurting people's feelings. I don't care about anything of that nature. Like, I just don't give a fuck.
Now that we've established that neither one of us care about hurting each other's feelings, I'm not gonna feel bad about this post. So continue, sir, with your lies.
You know?
That's a
We
sign.
need to see reality for what it is. Obama was in the Epstein files.
No, he wasn't, liar. No, he wasn't. I find it very interesting how you lie on behalf of your guy. On behalf of a man that has been mentioned in the Epstein files 38,000 times, and not even a quarter of the files have been released yet. This isn't a game, dude. This isn't a game. But if you want to play a game, I can play. Let's see what you can say.
I know it's Black History Month right now, but we gotta hold, no matter if they're black, white, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Native American, whatever. We got to hold these people accountable.
Hold everybody accountable, except for your guy. Except for anybody on your
Hey,
side.
trucker wife. Good morning.
How it works, son.
Why you keep calling her a son?
People.
Trucker wife. Now Obama is in the Epstein files. Woo! There's nobody more in the Epstein files than their leader, Trump.
That hurt children, all of them need to be prosecuted and under the jail. But your fake outrage pisses me off. You don't care about the children. You come on trying to persuade minds, lying, saying that President Obama was in the nobody shit. Now, when I do content on people like this, I do a little research on their page.
Okay.
While I was doing some research on their page, I saw something, and now I'm going to have nightmares for the rest of my life. So since I had to see it, you guys do too. Watch.
Oh! Oh!
I'm so sorry, but you guys gotta share this thing's pain. Researching these people isn't easy. I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
People, these things vote. They vote. So that means
They call it a
you have to
thing.
vote too. Because these lunatics are now in charge of our country. And we need to fight and vote them out.
I heard that.
I've had enough of them.
Oh my goodness. Hilarious. Hilarious. This is crazy. Oh. This is crazy. Oh, these jackasses.
Patel has killed the investigations into the killings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Now, we already knew that, of course, that the FBI was not, in fact, going to open up an investigation into Renee Good, but a new report from the New York Times did come out this week. And here's what they told us, according to the Daily Beast. Senior Trump administration officials, including FBI Director Kash Patel, intervened and instructed agents to stand down, halting the probe just as it was set to begin.
The move came amid internal concern in Washington that a civil rights investigation would clash with President Donald Trump's public narrative, blaming Renee Good for the shooting. Agents were reportedly told to abandon the standard investigative approach and pursue alternative legal theories, a shift that several career prosecutors blasted as legally dubious and politically driven. One such approach was to seek new warrants framed around whether Good had assaulted the ICE agent or, in another
We
controversial
seen this
twist,
shit.
to direct attention toward Good's partner, a pivot that many in the office saw as inappropriate and unrelated to the shooting itself, according to several anonymous sources who spoke to the New York Times. And of course, then we had 6 prosecutors from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Minneapolis resign because they wanted them to investigate those people instead of investigating the officer. There's one part of what I just read that I'm going to read you again. This is the big part. The move came amid internal concern in Washington that a civil rights investigation would clash with President Donald Trump's public narrative.
Trump gonna get them all put in jail.
So we don't get the information, we don't get the details, we don't get justice because it doesn't fit the narrative that Donald Trump prematurely got on social media and pushed. That's how the justice system works now in the United States. You can kill somebody and not face an investigation if Donald Trump has already said something that wasn't necessarily true. Wow, I didn't know that is how the system of justice now worked in the United States. Wow, I guess that's good. But this was Kash Patel. This is what we get from this administration. These officers are not going to face repercussions. They're absolutely not. They're not going to go to jail, as I believe they should. They're going to go about their lives and put more people in danger every time they're out there on those streets. But worse than that, it'll keep happening. I will say we've been lucky with no videotaped killings in 2 weeks now? Wow, that's going to be a record.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that the abuse has stopped.
No, it hasn't.
That doesn't mean that the violations of the rights of these individuals has stopped. All of that is still going on. So even though attention has shifted and focused, and now, of course, we're talking about other things, we're not all hyper-focused on Minnesota or ICE in general, it'll happen again. And all of this will get renewed. What's happening right now with everybody shifting attention away is exactly what this administration wants. And listen, it's difficult, damn near impossible, to constantly stay hyper-focused on only one particular issue. And this administration knows it. That was their plan from the very beginning. They didn't know they were going to have to deal with some of the things they're dealing with, but their plan was to overwhelm the public. A shotgun blast of insanity frequently to the point where the public becomes numb. We cannot become numb. We cannot just accept that this is what they're going to do and we just have to suffer through it for 3 more years. We have to be outraged. Your level of outrage can vary. You don't have to go through every single day pissed off, hating the world, anger boiling over to the point where you give yourself a stroke. But it's got to simmer. It's got to be simmering in there. Because the second you turn that burner off, this administration wins. Thanks for watching. And if you are not already...
Yep. That's exactly what it is. You got to stay focused. Stay focused. Because all the shit that comes out of this administration day in and day out, oh my God. It is relentless. They're relentless with their bullshit. Oh, well, that's all I got for you all this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you all's morning is blessed. And I'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming in. Please leave a like, share it out. See you guys later. Thank you. Bye-bye.